Perfect. So we'll set the goal for tonight. So tonight, our goal is very simple thing to do: CI/CD pipeline. Now, this is one of the things kind of, I would say, nice to know as a Selenium developer. But if you know it, it does give a plus point in your resume. And it gives you very plus point or very good impression in your interview. So big impression point, CI/CD pipeline. Not only you should do it, but you should know in and out. Now, there are two types of pipeline people do. We are going to do through like web console. So we're going to use web console, which is the step-by-step. We're going to do it. But there is another pipeline which normally people who have a DevOps background, they do through programming or scripting. Now, both is kind of doing the same thing, but because you are a Selenium user or QA user, it's important that you do at least one way. Because at the end of the day, you will be using CI/CD pipeline. There is no other option. You will be using everyday basis. So one, you can do it, and second, you can delegate it. When you do it, it's a web console through, and when you delegate, you kind of ask DevOps person to do your CI/CD pipeline. So we'll do that. For that CI/CD pipeline, we need to do a lot of interesting things. The first step we need to do is we need to install Maven. Then we should install Java. Good news, we have Java already installed, right? It's a JDK. So first we need to install that. Before you start anything, make sure you have Maven JDK is installed. Then we need to change our system environment variable. And I'll show you how to do so. So there are two variables in interview. People will ask you Java_home, which is equals to, you need to mention the JDK path where you install Java. And then we need to do m2_home, where we need to explain where we install Maven, right? Then we need to do path, where we need to set Java JDK path. So we need to set the JDK path where we up to all the way to bin directory. We'll talk about it, and the same apply for Maven. So Java path and Maven path. So there are two paths we need to set up. Once we do that, we are going to install Jenkins. What is Jenkins? How it works? I'm going to cover in 2 minutes. And then we are going to create a small pipeline. So for that, we need to create a simple project, which is called Maven project. And Maven project through, we will create simple TestNG test case. Once we do that, then we'll drag and drop this project to Git. Once we drag and drop, then we'll have a Jenkins pool Git project. And then once it does, we want Jenkins to call Maven and build the project. Once you do that, then we'll ask Jenkins to run TestNG test case. Once test case is running, we will have report to create. So we want a report, but in order to do report, we need to install plugin. So we'll install plugin for TestNG report. And then we will complete that report. Again, entire exercise is only one exercise. So this is like 2-3 hours exercise. Okay. So if you make a mistake, which is possible, likelihood of making mistakes, because what normal person in industry does, they take like this thing 2-3 days minimum. Average person take 2-3 weeks. So person who knows, they will take 2 or 3 days, means they spend 16 hours to do so. While I'm explaining, while we are doing this, I will be able to complete in less than 2 hours or 3 hours. Okay. We are not going to go too fast, but at the same time, we need to go to reasonable speed. I will be very honest with you. If you pay attention, you will be able to do it, but there are minor things you make mistake. Example, I say do this, but you do something differently. Like human nature, we do sometimes. In that case, you may not have working thing. But if you do it right, it will work. If in an entire class, 2 students, 3 students can do it, I did my part very well. Makes sense or no? Because those students did not know, those students who did not know, but they are able to do it. It means ideally, everyone should do it, but minimum if 2 or 3 students does, awesome job, right? Because there are so many steps we need to do. This concept makes you experience Java/Selenium web developer automation engineer. Trust me, in your resume, if someone sees Jenkins, someone says CICD pipeline, it's quite impressive because normally people will not know. Make sense? So this itself, this 2 hour, 3 hours exercise itself will take you 1 or 2 hours of experience. Make sense? So even you are spending 2-3 hours, you will have much more understanding about Jenkins pipeline. Now, entire process I have documented in forum. So forum is emailed to you as a PowerPoint. So you all have access to the forum. Everything is in the forum, in your Google Class, everything. So there is nothing to worry about it. So let's start with the one by one. First of all, why Jenkins? So Jenkins is in industry, relax. Jenkins in industry since 2002, I would say. 2002, I started using 2 software. One was called Hudson. Relax and enjoy the movie first. So Hudson was the first software, and Hudson was started by 2 team members, A and B. I'm not remembering their name, and they have a fight. One wanted to make open source. Open source means like Jenkins should be free for the entire world. And one wants to make money out of Hudson. So they made a licensed product. Now, as always, there's a divide that happened. The person who want to make a license and want to make money, they created software called Hudson. And the person who wants to make open source, they use Hudson, and then they create a Jenkins. Now, long story short, the person who wanted to make money disappeared, but the person who made this Hudson open source, Jenkins, is been in industry for last 20 plus years. It is one of the most popular software for CI/CD pipeline. So first of all, it is open source. Now you may say, what is CI? So CI stands for continuous integration. Now, what is continuous integration? I'm going to walk you through, but in easy language, whenever developer works their code and whenever they do commit, remember we talk about Git, add, commit, push, right? Yes or no? Whenever you do commit to your Git, magic starts. From there, magic starts. And that Git, Jenkins will pull up, and Jenkins will do all things: clean, build, test, and report. Testing and report also Jenkins will do. So Jenkins is known as an integration server. Speak with me. That's our energy. Integration server, right? Because if you don't have energy, then you won't be able to do today's class because it's pretty intense class. Make sure you have energy. So what is Jenkins server means? This is the energy I was not expecting. Come on, right? Again, what is Jenkins known for? Integration server. This kind of question people will ask. And why integration? Because Jenkins cover 15 to 20 technology. How many? 15 to 20 technology. Entire class what you studied in Java Selenium, everything is now going to plug together as a CI/CD pipeline. So if you do not know, you are not able to do puzzle correctly. You just know the pieces. And there is no value of the pieces. The value of the puzzle. Makes sense or not? So if you fix the complete puzzle, there is a value. So when you go in industry and say, I know Java, Selenium, database, those are pieces. Jenkins can combine all pieces together. That's why it's highly respected. Now, there are 2 types of jobs you may be able to apply. One is Java Selenium, and the second you can apply for DevOps. Now, there is not much difference about DevOps versus Java Selenium. Actually, you can be preferred as a DevOps engineer. You can be preferred. The only thing you need to know Jenkins. Of course, you know Maven, Git. Those are plus point, but you don't have to do coding. Neither you have to do testing, and you can be DevOps. Most of the students work as a dual role, Java Selenium / DevOps. Of course, you make more money. Makes sense? Now you say, but I don't know anything about DevOps. You know a lot more. You know Java, you know Git, you know Maven, you know TestNG, you know Jenkins, you know all those things part of DevOps. The most important thing you need to know Jenkins. There are other technologies you should know, but at least primary people will use Jenkins. Now, as we go further, why Jenkins is so popular? Because you can see that anything you can think about it, Jenkins can connect. Many of technologies should not be new to you. You know Maven, you know Git, right? You know Selenium. Of course, you do not know Puppet, you do not know Ansible, you do not know other things, but for that you know Java, right? You can easily learn Python, you can do other kind of things, PowerShell and all, you can do as well. And Nagios, which is nothing but monitoring, application monitoring too. Industry, has a 500 plus plugin. How many? 500 plus plugin means there is no ending. There is no ending. Every day, new plugins keep coming. So Jenkins has an open platform. Speak with me. Open platform. Open platform means you plug and play. What do you call? Plug and play. Think about you buy iPhone. Every time you buy iPhone, you have a simple iPhone, then you keep adding applications. Yes or no? You go to App Store, free, download it, install it, download, install, download, install, download, install. So you keep doing that. So it's kind of infinite, as many applications you want to install. So Jenkins allows that kind of freedom. That is the reason Jenkins become much more appealing to you. So far, so good. It connects the dots. Now, naturally, people will ask, is there any other software people use? So you might know Jira. How many of you know Jira? Almost everyone. Jira is actually came or designed by a company called Atlassian. Company called Atlassian, which is in Australia. They have a tool. They have a tool which is called Bamboo. Bamboo. So Bamboo does the almost same thing. Again, Bamboo is like a vertical license version. They're going to charge you money. Another software people use sometimes, which is called TeamCity. So TeamCity is normally people use when they're using Windows product like C#, not Java. Can I use Java? Yes, but again, it is a licensed product. You have to pay for it, right? But while Bamboo, TeamCity, those are paid products. But Jenkins is free, FRE, free. There are other products. Now, if you're going for cloud, then Azure, which is the Azure cloud, they come up with their own concept. If you ask me, they have borrowed concept from Jenkins only. They borrow concept from Jenkins only because Jenkins is open source. So they borrow the concept and they created Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps concept, which is nothing but Azure pipeline. It's kind of same concept as Jenkins. So if you know Jenkins and if you do not know Azure, you can still work in because it is plug and play type of thing. And AWS also have similar code commit pipeline. So AWS also have same. They all borrow the concept from Jenkins because Jenkins was the number one. And then these cloud provider came up with their own product, but they almost work similar. So far, so good. Do you guys like Jenkins? Yes or no? Because it's free and it's powerful. Now, as you go further, as I mentioned before, open source tool, great community because last 20 years in the market, easy to install. We're going to install today. Has 1,000 plus plugin. I say 500. Yes or no? I was very reasonable. But 1,000 plus, what does it mean? If you really look right now, it might be 3,000. Every day, new plugins coming. New plugin every day. So you won't believe that. It's a free, and that's the biggest driver because everyone like FRE free. And it is built in with Java, hence it's portable. It works for all cloud provider. It works in Windows as well as Linux. So far, so good. Awesome. Now Jenkins has a lot of features. I'm not going to go. We talk about continuous integration. Sometimes people ask question. What is continuous integration? So continuous integration, when I was in IBM, there was a person called Martin Flower. Martin Flower, speak with me. Martin Flower. Martin Flower, the person who used to write a book called UML book. In case if you search on Google, UML Distill, That's the book written by Martin Flower. It's the first book, very popular book. How to write use cases. Martin Flower, very popular book. But UML, he wrote the book about UML. He was IBM guy, so he came up with the concept in 2001. Then remember 2001? How many of you know 2001? There is a special event happened, September 2001. During that time, this guy written a letter, not letter, paper, I would say. The paper called Continuous Integration. That paper, he just wrote like, I would say, hardly two-page summary, continuous integration. So he said that all big companies should not depend on the manual, build and then test and release, right? So first you build it, then you test it, then you release it. There's a human aspects. The building happened by one person, testing happened by one person, and then deployment happened by one person. So this is human aspect, and it is always slow. So he said that we can eliminate everything. We don't need a person dependency. We don't have to latency. Neither we have all kind of human aspects. Let's do automated. So he came up with this concept called continuous integration, and he used a software which was that time popular called Continuum. Now, Continuum is nothing but a CICD pipeline, which is nothing but Jenkins. So Continuum, myself, I was in IBM, I used that paper and I followed the step and it worked. Matter of fact, I got an award for that because I did it when I was working for my client, and I showed, hey, look at that. You press the button, everything works. So that time Continuous were popular, and then slowly, Hudson came and Hudson started popular. So if you ask full credit of CICD, I'll give it to Martin Flower. He was, I would say, pioneer. Sometimes people ask in interview, do you know who's Martin Flower? And people say, I know Obama, but I don't know Martin Flower. But you should know, just like you know Bill Gates, yes or no? You should know this guy because this guy changed the world, because he came up with this token CICD pipeline. So if you search in Google, you may find his footsteps because he wrote a lot of articles, but very simple articles, CICD pipeline. Are we clear? Because people do ask in interview, do you know Martin Flower? He's not an actor. He's the architect. He used to work in IBM. Right now he works in ThoughtWorks. So he works on ThoughtWorks. He does consulting, but he published this paper. Most companies use his concept. So just as a full credit, right? Now, if you go further, Jenkins create a pipeline. So the way it works is, I mentioned before, developer will push the code. It will go to GitHub. Tonight we'll use GitHub. Then build, you know, Maven build, right? Maven has a goal. Maven clear build. Then we'll do test and you know Selenium. Yes or no? You can use Selenium or you can use TestNG. I'm going to do TestNG. You will use Selenium for your project. Make sense or no? Because remember, Selenium works inside TestNG. Make sense or no? Because in TestNG, we call either unit test or we can do Selenium test, and we can do both of them. Okay. For Maven perspective, it doesn't matter. It is a Selenium test case or JUnit or TestNG test case. And once we do that, it's going to be reporting. We will not do Apache and all. We are going to do our simple activity, but you can do deploy also. So there are 4 words that sometimes people use. CI means, what is CI means? Continuous integration. Then CD means continuous deployment. Continuous deployment. And CT means continuous testing. And CP means continuous publishing. So this is like a 4 word is very important. CI means end to end. So you can start from here all the way, integration. CD means deployment. So if you go to all the way to web server, remember we talk about web server 3-tier architecture, web server, any web server, Apache or Tomcat. In your interview, people will ask you this kind of pipeline. Sometimes they call test topology. Speak with me. Testing topology. Topology means what software, what architecture you use, what kind of environment you use in order to perform your testing. You can use similar architecture. Don't tell I'm doing all from my laptop, right? In a real life, there is a test labs are there. And during test labs, somebody set up this thing. The person who set up, we call DevOps. And the person who use it, we call QA. Make sense or not? So CI means continuous integration, normally done by DevOps, but you can do as well. Continuous deployment, normally done by DevOps, but you can do as well. CT is your responsibility. And CP means continuous publishing. The publishing means what happened? The developers sometimes, they publish their artifact. Artifact means jar. Remember jar we talk about in Maven? Jar or var. They publish the artifact. And same thing. Same thing when you do the build completely and everything is tested, Jenkins also publishes the artifact. It means tested artifact, means everything is tested. So that's called publish. Why? Because you want to reserve. You want to reserve the good work. Something happened, and the preserve, whatever the published thing you have, that you will go in a safe, which we call artifactory. What we call artifactory. Artifactory means it's just like, think about locker. You put all your good stuff there. So in case of disaster, you can pull it from there. Make sense? It's always good idea to publish. So like example, many company, I forgot the all company name, but one company I know, Hitachi. So Hitachi, what happened? Like Hitachi, when you are meeting, people travel, right? When they travel, there is a rule. They cannot travel or fly in one plane. They have to travel with a different plane. And then the other people, what they do, they have important meetings. So they will send some articles or documents through FedEx, and then they will have one copy with them, right? So in case of disaster, the documents are already there. So that's kind of called publishing. It's always good idea to have some kind of safety net, because something you give it to customer and somebody deleted it. But because you are Artifactory, you can get it there, right? If you remember in Maven, you use dependency, yes or no? And in dependency, you provide a version and somehow magic happen and you get it. You are using Maven Artifactory, where you are getting Maven data, Maven jars, right? Selenium jars and all, right? POI jars. You are using Artifactory, but those are open Artifactory, means anybody can get it. In your company, there will be a local Artifactory. The normally company use called Nexus. Speak with me, Nexus. Again, you don't need to know how it works and all, but just use name sometimes. Just use name. No one will ask any additional question. It thinks about all your files, which your jar file and all, which will be copied there, and you have version. So if you want to download, you can change your Maven repository, point to that, and you can download. That's pretty much it. Right now, what you are doing is you are downloading through public repository, but you can download through a company repository also. So that is a next. So far, any questions? So far, making sense? Are you guys excited? CI, CD, CT, and CP, right? Clear? Awesome. Moving along, we talk about nicely, in case if you have not yet remembered, there are so many things Jenkins does. So developer, as soon as he commit the code, it will go to Git. And from magic start from there. As soon as it comes, CI server, we talk about Jenkins, and you can pull it and say, now I'm going to build it. So that is build step. These are each is called step. Each one is a step. So each step, when you combine together, these steps, when you combine together, it's called pipeline. So steps are combined together, it's called pipeline. Make sense or no? So you're not going to do all at once. You're going to do one step, validate, one step, validate. So you have to combine. I have spent many times where I have error here in this step. So it's a good idea to check that step before you move to the next step, right? So we will do troubleshooting today. I'm pretty positive we'll have error, right? And we'll figure it out. But once you're done, I thought I mentioned about something called Artifactory. Do you guys agree on what software we use?
Nexus.
Wow, thank you. See, I like one student, at least answer correctly. See, guys, sitting in a class doesn't mean learning. If you don't pay attention, this kind of question will cost you a job. Make sense? Because if you say you did a CICD pipeline, you better know this, because this is your locker. At the end of the day, you publish them. So how can you say, I don't know? Make sense? So entire thing you need to know, and you should be ready to draw on a whiteboard, because that's called pipeline. If you have done it, you should know it, right? So people may not go minute detail of Selenium, Java, TestNG. They will go big picture. If you can do big picture correctly, then everything will work better. And funny part is developer can pull it. How developer can pull? Through palm.xml. Do you know the dependency? So through palm.xml, you define that and it will pull. So its entire thing goes like ecosystem. Pretty good, huh? Good? Awesome. Let's move on. So now we talk about pipeline, integrated build, test, and deploy. We will do that. Now this is again, sorry for say, but this is like in industry, there's a concept called code monkey. So I'm not just labeling you any C perform, but this concept is called code monkey. Now code monkey is nothing but developer. Please treat positively. Again, the reason, because once you start coding, you don't think about it. I have seen people, they don't think about it. There's a slogan, there's a story, I'm not sure you have heard about it. The Newton, everyone knows about Newton? So Newton, because Sir Newton, do you guys know that? Only a couple of people we call Sir Newton, because he was respected highly. So one day, Newton was with his aunt house, and he has a tiny cat, and aunt has a big cat. So Newton has a tiny cat, and aunt has a big cat. So Newton came up with the idea, aunt, when we go outside, the door is wooden door. We should create a big hole, two holes. One is small hole for a door, big hole like that. One for small for my cat, and one for big hole for your cat. Ant laugh, and that's all I want to tell you. Why ant laugh? One hole is good enough, yes or no? But even Newton can make mistakes, so we can make too, yes or no? So developers normally make a lot of mistakes. Why? Because they are more worried about solving the problem and they don't look for outside. So they become code monkey. So easy language, once in a while you should do this work. Don't remain in the same area over and over. This concept become more popular. Netflix came. So Netflix give us another name called kiosk monkey. So Netflix kiosk monkey is very important, but that applies to you all. So Netflix say that code monkey does the development, but then kiosk monkey, that is kind of breaking everywhere. So it kind of break everywhere. So that's what they call, if you break everywhere, then QA has to test that random testing. So they created an automated program that called kiosk monkey that just stop everything randomly and see how Netflix react. The reason I'm telling you, people will ask in interview, do you know what is kiosk monkey means? That is nothing but random testing. So example, if you're driving car and you are just, you know that you're driving car, but like say randomly you have flat tire, randomly engine stop, randomly transmission stop, random steering stop. What happened with the car? How car will work? So that type of testing Netflix is doing, and that's why Netflix has a pretty good service, because they do this type of testing. They remove human. Another thing Netflix does, they don't use deployment to production like this. Most people, what they do, listen carefully. Most people, what they do build and then they do testing. Listen carefully, build and testing. What Netflix does, they deploy in a production where customers are using. At that time, they break system randomly and see if customers are impacted or not. Now, most companies have never tested this, but Netflix changed the token and said, now our system should be resilient enough. Speak with me. Resilience enough that I can test. That type of testing, Jenkins can do it for you. So kiosk monkey can be done for you. Jenkins can connect with the Docker. Jenkins can connect with the cloud. Jenkins can do almost anything. Okay. So it will be a useful things to know that random testing Netflix is doing, and that become more popular. Most companies started doing that because they want to give you resilience. So you as a QA, you should know about how industry people are doing this kind of testing. Now, moving along, and we are now going to start our software installation. Ready? So the first thing we're going to install is Maven. So if you are in my forum, if you're not, I would strongly suggest you go to forum, and you can click here. So that way we can all cut and paste some of the things, because I want to make sure you all have access to the right thing. Otherwise, when you type, you will take time, and unnecessary, it will delay the process. So let me know if you are already in my forum and you are all the way to the developers, and here download Maven. Good. Now, remember one thing, some of your computer may not support. Some of your computer may have error. Don't panic. Make sure you understand it. And when you go home, when you get chance, you can do it again. I'm recording the session, so I'm hoping I'm recording, right? Am I? Yes, I'm recording the session, so you have access to that. So now let's click on the first thing here. So when you click here, you can download the software, right? We are going to download Maven. So click on it. Please understand, we are in Maven. Apache Maven is also free. In industry, sometimes people ask, do you know any similar software as a Maven? So Google has a similar thing called Gradle. So Gradle is a very similar software as Maven, though it's not that popular, but you might need to know at least comparable technology. Before Maven, there was a technology called Ant. Ant was used for build. Maven is now popular, and Gradle is Google's similar product, Google product is always popular, so people started using Gradle also. The young generation, especially those who are using Python, Ruby and all, they started using Gradle more often. But otherwise, Maven is mostly used. Yes, Mike?
Did we already install Maven?
No, we are going to.
I thought we already did with the NetBeans and stuff.
No, NetBeans does come with the plugin. So NetBeans has its own Maven. This one is our own. NetBeans comes with its own plugin. So this is our own. So we're going to do step by step. Okay. So now scroll down, you will see a lot of options here. I use what do you call Windows product. So we're going to definitely use this one, BinZip. You can download that, right? It may take a couple of minutes. Just click it and boom, start downloading. See, it's done. Pretty easy, right? Remember, you're downloading BinZip, right?
Sure.
Yes.
I already downloaded Jenkins in my last class, so
You just watch that. Enjoy the ride.
So I have to be downloaded again, or
no, just enjoy, because you cannot download. You just enjoy, relax and enjoy. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you enjoy a whole movie. I'll ask question now. So I know now Samya is the person, so I will ask questions. Okay? Okay, be ready. All questions will come to you. Okay. So first thing first, most of the time people will ask you this. If I interview, I ask this way, because I normally don't ask question as a bookish question, because bookish questions most people will memorize, but I will ask practical questions. So like example, Maven. So if you ever install Jenkins, you should know these steps. This many steps you should know, right? Yes or no? And we're going to do all the steps. So that way you can easily remember things. You don't need to know every line by line, but at least you know how high level big picture. So we just downloaded Maven, right? So let's go to that folder. This is the way we can go to that folder. So once you go to the folder, show folder, you will see the zip file there, and we will extract that. So you can click on that and extract. So first of all, now please understand, this is a zip file. So what you need to do, right click and extract all. So if you right click and extract all, then you will be able to create to the directory. So check it out, extract all, and you can just extract. So when you do that, it will create a folder. Now many of you are using Windows Professional. It comes with extract, but some of you might have WinZip, whichever works for you. You need at least some software which can allow you to extract. Let's say some of you might have some old version, or WinZip is expired. Then there is a software called 7-Zip, which is free. 7-Zip, which is free. You can download that, which will also allow you to extract. The only caveat is be careful when you download. It does come with some virus. So be careful. Make sure you have authentic site to download 7-Zip. But it works like a charm. You can use that. So those who do not have like an extract all, you can download 7-Zip and it's free and it will work lifetime. But when I extract it, make sure you see on the screen, you have directory within a directory. So you can see this is the main directory, and inside that there is a subdirectory. Yes or no? So I want to go inside and see what I got it. So I got a lot of things here. This is my bin where my binaries files are there, and this is my configurations. So I will be going here. This is my parent directory, please pay attention. And this is my current directory. So I'll go to parent directory, please pay attention. So I go to parent directory, so I can see this is the entire directory I need. So now you do Control C here. Control C means copy. And then we'll go to C drive data. I like to put everything in a C drive data because it will be a lot easier to follow the flow. So C drive data, we already have data folder. If you don't have a data folder, you should create a data folder under C drive. So now let's copy that, Control C, I copy that. And now I'm going to go to C drive. And in that C drive, there should be a data folder. And I'm going to paste this folder. Remember, I'm pasting my Apache Maven folder. So if I double click on that, I can see right away bin directory. It is very important that you understand path. If you have not seen this way, means you're making mistake already. Make sense? When I copy parent was up and child was down, and I copied this one. So I copy this and it has all directories. Make sense? a minor small mistake will create a problem. So be careful. And good news, this is something you will do as soon as you join any company. First day you will do. This is called dev setup. Speak with me. If you tell people, hey, how to install Maven, you're giving signal that you have never worked in IT. So extremely important. It is extremely important that you know how to set up Maven and other things. Make sense? Okay. So right now we have this thing. Is there any questions so far? Why did I do data? Because it's for simplicity, right? This one we downloaded and this is my binary. So if somebody asks Maven home, then this is your Maven home. Please understand, this is your Maven home, which we call M2 home, very popular word in the industry, M2 home. Now people sometimes ask in interview, what is M2 home and where to use it? So M2 home is the environment. M2 home is a environment variable which we have to define. So almost all program will use this environment variable. Make sense or no? This environment variable, all program will use it. So there are a couple of environment variables we will be using tonight. One is Java home, very popular environment variable, which mostly software will use it. So if you don't have it, it won't work. So this variable Jenkins use also. So before I install, I need to set it up. So far so good. Say yes. Awesome. Now I have everything is done. So I'm going to click here. Please follow me. Control C. So you click here. When you click here, it allows you to copy. So do Control C. Control C means copy this thing. See, when you click here, it allows you to select and you do Control C. Never try to type this thing because it's very typical. You will have a problem, right? So far so good. Now follow me. Right click on this PC and go to property. Right click on this PC and go to property. So far so good. Follow the flow. It's easy. So property. And when you do so, you will see on the right side somewhere advanced settings. Say yes.
Yes.
Nice. See, you got it. Advanced setting. So when you click on advanced setting, you see this dialog box. Okay. And from this dialog box, click on environment. Right. And when you click on environment, you will see this thing. Now, don't be scared. My screen and your screen might have a little different. Don't worry about it. The goal of the exercise, all environment variables are defined here. You can see I have multiple environment variables already, but you may not have a Java home and you may not have M2 home. Am I right? Right. So let's get started. Let's click on new. Let's click on new.
I don't have the right panel.
Sorry?
I don't have the rightmost panel where it shows advanced system setting and so
You need
forth.
to make a bigger screen. You will have it. You need to make a bigger screen. You should have it. If you are using a personal edition, still you will have it. And if you don't have it, I'm not sure which Windows version you are using, but you should have it. I have not seen anyone who doesn't have it.
It shows differently, device specifications and related links.
Yeah. Make sure you should have it. So because Windows by default gives that. Okay. Now, where did I go? Forgot where I was. Yeah. I was in advanced setting, right? Okay. So in advanced setting, click on environment variable. Now, I already have a variable here. You don't have. So you're going to click on new and I'll click on edit because I already have it, right? So when I click on new, it will be like that. So type properly. You have to type this thing. Make sure you type. Sorry, my mistake. Because you're doing Maven, right? Sorry for that. Just to cancel, we'll do M2 home. Sorry for that. Because we are doing M2, right? So just cancel and come here. You will do new now, and I'll do edit. Okay. So here, make sure you type correctly. Don't worry about this part. Okay. Don't worry about this part. Just type this thing and wait for me. M2. There is no space. Underscore home. One word. Okay. No space. And don't try to do uppercase, lowercase. It's capital. Make sense, sir? Don't try to. If you do minor mistake, it won't work. I will be honest with you. It takes a couple of days to figure it out sometimes, and it's undo and all. You will spend time. I found must step which works all the time because I have done this hundreds of times and I have seen hundreds of different problems. But I found very interesting. If you do this couple of steps correctly, it's a smooth ride. Now, here what you see here, just do paste, Control V. Control V. So M2 underscore home, and this one we just copied. Remember we copied that? Now you do OK. You guys are doing super duper, okay? And okay. So you just completed M2 home. Your M2 home will be visible. Am I right? Now you scroll a little bit down. There should be a path. Say yes, and click on that and say edit. Do not delete anything, just do edit. This is a very important thing. It allows your Windows to look for a particular exe file. Exe file. Exe means executable, and it will run from anywhere. So you can run executable from anywhere, and that's why path is important. So let's click on edit. So when you click on edit, what will happen? You have so many things. We don't have to disturb anything. We just need to click new. Click on new, and then you paste it, and then /bin. Make sure you write /bin. Let me show you. bin. That is the where our exe is there. So you can see I did Control V here. So Control V through I get this item. And then I said /, and I said bin. Bin means where my binaries are. Makes sense or no? You type bin, make sure /, is this time /, and bin like that. Doable? Awesome. Because I have old version, I'm just going to click it and delete it. So I don't want to create a challenge. Pretty good. So easy. So if you have done this thing, you understand home and then /bin. If you have multiple Apache Maven, you are not following me at all. Make sense? I'm using data because I have done this thing part. So it's pretty good. Now do OK. And OK. And OK. So we are good. And I'm going to close this one also. So everything looks good so far. So I'm going to X out. So I'm here. Can I count everyone is good? Now we want to check it out, that whatever we have done is working or not, right? So please follow. I am showing you both ways to verify also. So if you click on this what you call search button, type CMD or command, whatever you like. CMD or command, please do so. CMD or command, CMD. So you can open a command line. Remember, it's easy when you follow it. Okay. So CMD or command, and just click on it. So you can get a command window. Now you want to see what you have done, right? So if you write set and press enter, you will see all those things. Set, and if you press enter, set, just write set and press enter. So if you write set and press enter, you will see everything. Make sense of it? Now, it's pretty hard to see all those things, but if you scroll up, you will find your M2 home and say, yes. Right? And if you see the path, somewhere at the end, your information will be there, but it is hard to find that. So there is another way you can do is you can copy this thing in a file and check it out. But if your M2 home is there, I'm pretty positive your things will be there also. So if I can see here, are you able to see your path? Somewhere you will see your path here, where you just set it up. Somewhere you will see Maven, right? So if you have everything done well, now it's a time for last check. Ready? So write MVN. If you write MVN and if you get error, build error, then it's everything working fine. If it's a MVN not found, means you made a mistake. If you say MVN not found, you made a mistake already. So good news, you have to wait for whole class now, right? So MVN, press enter. So you can see it takes time. It means good. It's going to do building and it will error out, which is good thing. It means first step is correctly done. Question, concerns, doubt. Awesome. Remember, I'll try my best to explain step by step. So those who are not able to do, you can watch recording. So don't be upset. It's normal. Sometimes your machine doesn't support. Sometimes you have environment issue. Completely fine. So now one step is done. So let me check it out. So this is done. Now we are going to do JDK. So let's follow the flow. JDK you must have installed because you installed NetBeans. So let's go to and search and hunt JDK. So now the way it works is you have to go to your C drive. So from this PC, I'll go to my C drive, follow the flow. From this PC, I'll go to C drive and then double click on that. And there should be a somewhere program files. Say yes, right? Program files. Double click on it. And in the program files, if you double click on it, don't tell me what is the program file, C drive, program files, and double click on that, there will be a Java. Say yes. And double click on that, and you will see lots of there in case you are like me, but look for JDK. Yeah, you may have two things. Remember, life is difficult if you don't follow correctly. Because if you use JRE, you will have a nightmare. So do not use JRE at all. Just for your knowledge purpose, JRE is used for browser, Java runtime environment. Every browser needs JRE in order to serve some of the JavaScript and all. So normally your machine may have JRE. Human nature, no matter what Tom says, I'm going to do the way I want, and you accidentally select this, that's it, nothing will work. Don't tell me I did not tell you. So JRE, don't even worry about. Do you have JDK? Say yes. You most likely will have 17, I assume, right? So if you have 17, you can do 17. So I'm going to follow the 17 for time being, okay? So just double click on it. So you are having this thing. Please understand, we are using 17 right now. You and me both are using 17. Now what happened is my machine, when I use NetBean, please understand, and NetBean is using JDK 1.7. It is not using 17. But when you are using NetBean, you are using 17. So you do not need to change. My palm.xml always use NetBean 1.7. So I will be fine. So if you are okay, I will use 1.7 because my NetBean is using 1.7. You use 17 because your NetBean is using 17. I'm assuming you don't have multiple JDK. Am I right? So you have only one JDK, correct? I have two JDK, so I'm going to use it, otherwise I will have an error. Why? Because it has to be compatible. It has to be compatible, right? So if it is compatible, is not, then I may have an error. So I'm going to use JDK 1.7. Let me use 17 for time being. If there is an error, we'll deal with that. Okay, so that way we'll have consistency. But I'm using double clicking here. So now I'm in 17. So far so good. Now please understand, this is your home directory for JDK, and this is your bin directory. Are you guys able to see that? Say yes. Now you click here and copy this. So click on and copy that. So you copy it. So now this is your Java home, and this will be a path. So we're going to do the same step again. Ready? So right click on a PC. Remember, you now know the process, so you can go a little fast. This PC, go to properties. And from properties on the right side, you will see advanced setting. When you go to advanced setting, just like we did for Maven, you have advanced setting, you click on that, and you will have pop-up system engineering. Now you can click on environment variable. Make sense or no? Yes. And when you click on environment variable, you know this is your home. Now you're going to click on new. You're going to click on new, while I'm going to select this thing, and I'm going to select Java home edit. Okay. So you're going to click on new, and then type Java _ home. Make sure one word. Don't worry about this part for now. Type Java home, Java capital, and home. Java home, right? Capital. Make sure underscore is there. It is not a dash, it is an underscore. Okay, I'm hoping you are doing amazing job. Now you just do remove this thing and paste that thing, Control V, like that. So you do Control V. When you do Control V, your screen and my screen will look like almost same, right? Make sense or no? If you are having a hard time, I would say just watch the recording later on, but right now enjoy the flow. Okay. So if sometimes it's pretty hard to follow, if you are not comfortable, maybe watch recording later on. So Java _ home. Remember, I have not specified anything else. I just specified this thing. I'm going to do OK now. Ready? Okay. Okay. Now, when you do OK, please don't ask me later in script. I'm drawing and I'm also doing that. So this is my Java home. I'm going to do OK. So now when I did OK, it is Java home here. Now scroll down a little bit and go to path. So you go to path. So you are here. So you're in path. Now click on edit. Click on edit. And when you click on edit, now what you're going to do? Same concept. Click on the new. So when you click on new, you will have new row will be added. And and you do control V /bin. /bin. Bin means binary, and there you have exe file. Same concept as Maven. We just did a /bin. Remember, you did a control V. So when you did control V, you have a Java home, and then you specify /bin, just like you did for Maven. I already have this thing again, so I'm going to delete this thing. You don't have to worry about that part. So I'm going to just delete it. There's no point to have multiple copies. Now you do OK, 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 and close out with X thing here, so you can come out. Now you have to close this console also, because console does not know that you have done this magic. Because when you open the console, that time environment was old. So this does not reflect. So you have to close this console. Remember one thing, every time you change the environment, you need to change the console. So I'm closing it. I'm going to reopen console now. Let's start again. So CMD command, and when you click on command, now your console, command prompt will open. Oh, sorry, it went all the way. CMD. My machine has so many things running, so it's a problem, but we'll fix it. CMD. And come on, yes. So command prompt is here. And in command prompt, the way you do is you do set space Java _home and press enter. This time you can see that I have two Java home, but this one is Java home 1, which is not necessary. So you can ignore that, but I have JDK 17. Makes sense? Set Java home. Pretty good, _home. And then press enter. At this moment, you should have a Java home, and that's a good sign. Now, same thing we can do now, set path, PATH, and press enter. Now, somewhere you have to find that you should have somewhere JDK there, somewhere. So figure it out. I have this one, it's visible here. Make sense or not? So I think today my day is good. Everything works so far, so good. Now I'm kind of confirming everything. The last check I need to do is Java version. Is Java version is matching the way I'm looking? So Java -version, Java -version. And if that gives me that, then I think I'm doing good so far. So you can see here, when I say Java -version, when I press enter, it says I have 17.2, and it is environment standard. So I'm good to go. At this moment, I just completed 2 easy steps. Any questions for these 2 steps? We just did this step. Right? This is the most hardest step. I have seen most students make mistake here.
Tushar, I have 2 versions of JDK. One is 17.0.2 and
No,
one
what's
is
the question?
17.
What is the question?
I have 2 versions of
That's fine.
JDK.
No, that's fine. If you have JDK, that's fine. The last one will be the one you have 17, right? If you have done prior, then you may have some issues. You may want to delete just like I deleted, right?
I only had one, but when I'm running in console, when I run the version, it's showing different version than the one I added.
It doesn't happen that way. It means you have them. You have to find and delete, because this is something does not come from anywhere. It comes from those lines. So you may want to go and delete it. At this moment, you can quickly delete it because it should be guaranteed there. If you see something here different, okay, make sure you delete that part, because if you have done some half work somewhere, you may see the panic there, because if anything is incorrect, Jenkins will pick incorrect. It means now you have to uninstall Jenkins. You have to do a lot of recycle, and then Googling and all may have, because these are the things Jenkins store on your machine. Even you uninstall, somehow it's stored. Then you have to delete the temp directory. You have to go through a lot of cleaning process. So try if you can delete quickly and check it out. Now we are going to download Jenkins. Okay, remember one thing, everyone's machines are different. So you may have sometimes different issue. We have not completed all steps. We are now going to install Jenkins. Before we go through, let's go back to our forum, making sure we have forum things clear. So now we are done here. Now we are going to say download Jenkins. Download Jenkins links is already there. Let's click on it. So you don't have to ask me. So just click on that. So it will go to download Jenkins. So click on the link here. So when you click on the link, it will go to Jenkins homepage. Again, Jenkins comes in a many form. Jenkins comes in many form. So right now we are going to download this button. Click on the download. So when you click on download, it will give me multiple options. So if you scroll down, you have so many options. You guys agree or not? This one is download Jenkins, this version, and this one is this version. I'm more interested in Windows. So click on Windows. I'm drawing it here just to make sure you follow. Okay, yes, Mahashweta, question?
Yes, which part in the forum we go under quality assurance, and then where do we go to find this?
Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Right? It is in system engineering.
System engineering. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are half class, and now you're asking question, huh? It's already in a PowerPoint, homework, agenda, everywhere this link is given. Okay? This link is given everywhere if you check a little bit. Okay? It's in system engineering. This is not QA work. This is system engineering. CICD pipeline. Okay. Now make sure where I was here. Make sure you download this thing, which is your Windows version. So when you click on Windows version, make sure you click on Windows version. When you click on Windows version, magic happens and Jenkins start downloading. Okay, it does take a minute or two to download. Okay, again, this is the MSI file, which is nice. MSI stands for Microsoft Software Installation, which is allow us step-by-step installation. At this moment, see, if your machine has a problem, if it is different than mine, most likely you have to address your part differently. I show you one way, which works most of the time. But it is your machine, right? You may not have admin permissions. You might be using maybe HP, maybe something else. You might have a lot of hiccups, right? Again, I cannot assure you that everyone will be able to run it. The only thing I can assure you, if you follow the steps correctly, 80 to 90% chances you will be able to run it. Now, it seems like Jenkins is downloaded. Am I right? So let's get started. We are going to install. Assumption is very clear that 2 steps you have done correctly. Now, when we start installing, it will ask me the first thing where you want to install. So I want to make sure the mindset is very clear. Mindset is very clear. C drive data. We're going to install Jenkins inside C drive data. And we will give a Jenkins here like that. We'll create a folder. The reason we create that so everything is in one folder. Make sense? It will be a lot easier. So don't go forward. Okay. Every step there is a small things needed. So installation is art. Sometimes we might have issue, but we'll figure it out. So let's double click on Jenkins. So when you double click on Jenkins, it will go through installation process. It will detect the Java home. It will detect the Maven home for us. Now this person is the Jenkins. That's what they call. Now let's go to next. So you are here. So installation perspective, if you don't see here, you can change it. Make sense? Just type it, whatever you want, but make sure you C drive data. You can select and change and maybe select C drive data, right? Nicely. So you won't have any problem. So far, so good, right? Nicely. Now click on the next. So when you click on next, it will ask me, this is what way you want to run. We are not going to run on a what do you call service. We are going to run service as a local system. Now you say, what does this mean? So what happened is, in a real life, please understand, in a real life, not this way. In a real life, you are using computer, and your buddy is using computer, and buddy is using computer, right? They all are using corporate network like this. So this network is connected with every machine, which is called domain. And the Jenkins will be somewhere in a domain. So you're naturally able to access that machine. Right now, you are sitting in itexps where all of you can each other access your machine. So example, if Rashid want to access like Anwar machine, he can access it technically because you are in my network. So when you do network, you have 2 options, either work group or you create a domain. Good news, you are right now using work group because it's a smaller machine network, but in company, you use Active Directory. An Active Directory create a domain where your username and password. We don't want username and password because we do not have it. So we are going to select this one. But in real life, people use this one. Okay. Now let's click on it, and it doesn't gonna ask you username and password, which is good for us, right? So let's continue. Now when we do next, it's gonna ask you port. Please understand. All of us have a machine which is priorly configured with something. So if your machine has 8080 port used, then you will get error. If you click on test port, it will check this port available. If yes, you will have green tick mark. It means good sign. If you're red, it's a bad sign. We have to fix that before we move forward. Or we have two choices. Either we fix this issue or we change this port. Some people, what they do is they use 9090 and they come out and they use. I do not use 9090 because I forget about it. So first I'm going to click on test port and see it is saying, error. So when I have error, please understand. Error happens. You will have a green sign. The reason I have error because I teach this class hundreds of times. So every time I have Jenkins. So what I normally do, I'm going to show you troubleshooting thing. Some of you will need to know this thing. Why? Because you will encounter this thing. You never know what software your company is going to give you, right? Now you say, what is 8080? It's a port. Normally all web server use that port. So example, Tomcat use this port. Example, IaaS server use port. Example, if you're using any QA software, UFT, they use this port. So there are other software use this port. So you do not know, but you should know what software you install. So based on that, you can figure it out. I know Jenkins must be used. So the best thing you need to do, you don't have to do if you have a problem, but I have a problem. So I'm going to write services. What am I going to write? Services. So I'm going to say services. Come on. So if I write services, you will see the menu will show up and it will show me services. It should show up services. Yes. And if I click on services, it shows up and disappear. So I'm going to do again as services. And if I click on services, component services is good enough. So I click on component services and you will see there will be a service called Jenkins is running. This troubleshooting is amazingly helpful because I spent a lot of time early stage when I was having problems. So let's see if it opens services. So it is opening services. Now I press J because I know Jenkins start with J. So I press J and good enough. It is running. Do you guys agree? It is running. So first thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click and stop it. So when I right click and stop, the service is now not running. So now I'm going to minimize that and I'll say, can you test it? And ta-da. So I just show you one problem solution. Pretty good. Awesome. Let's continue. Now next. As you go further, it should pick it up on your JDK 17. It is reading from your Java home. Make sense? If it is not picking up, then you have to do yourself manually. Go to change, go to C drive, program file, Java, JDK 17. You have to do manually, but 90% it should pick it up. If it is not picking up, you can click on change, go to C drive, go to program file, go to Java, go to JDK 17.02, and let me know if you're able to navigate that. Good. So far. Good. Awesome. Remember, it should not take longer because you're just navigating program file, Java, JDK 17. Whatever it is. You might have a little different version. Don't have to type. Please don't type. Select. You just select it. Don't type it. Select, because if you type, if you have one digit is different, you may have an error. So at this moment, I think I'm hoping you are all able to follow. Let's click on next. So when you click on next, now move forward. Remember one thing, most of the things are pretty easy. Just do next here, and now you are about to install. Please understand it. Do not click right now, just wait for a second. When you install, the first thing it will do is it will give you temporary password. That's pretty typical problem. People will not understand that. If you do Googling, you will not get the proper help. So there is a special way I will solve that problem. If you close that, I will not be able to help you because I do not know exactly where the file is stored. So right now you go a little step by step, little slow because we need to get the temporary password. Okay. that temporary password allows me to reset the password. Make sense or no? So now let's click on the install. It may take a minute or two and it will install Jenkins for you. So now it is doing some research, checking the hard drive space and all. I'm hoping I have a hard drive space and it will start installing in a few minutes. Your machine might be faster than mine. It might be installed quickly. Mine will take a little time as always because and it started. So I'll say yes. And you will get temporary password. So right now it's doing it. Awesome, awesome. And really good. And now do finish. When you click on finish, please go smoothly. It will open the browser for you. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Wait for a minute or two and it should open the browser. Hope for best. If it opens, great. If it doesn't open, we have to open ourselves. So wait for a few minutes and pray for all necessary things because it should open. If it doesn't open, there is a way we can open it. So let's see. I'm always, I cannot even believe that it will open or not. So kind of always like, impatient, will it open or not? Did you guys see the browser with temporary password? If not, don't worry about it. There is a way we can kind of pick it. We can kind of pick and see what's going on. Normally it should open. If you give a little time, because it does magic and it opens. My machine is becoming extremely slow, so I'm thinking cache maybe something. Let's see. There is a way we can bypass the password also, but I do not have a username and password, so I will bypass the username and password. It's going here only. Okay. So let me know your screen because I have to walk through your screen because I'm not able to see my screen. I need to see someone's screen. So someone can show me the screen. I can walk you through. That's pretty much I can do. I just need to see your screen. Okay. Okay. So I'm not able to see my screen just like yours because yours. What is the login, right? You are login only, right? And you are still %F, right? Because I think I have set up the password. Okay. C drive program file. So you guys have a path here, right? So you can write like this one. Copy that path, the red color path, copy that. Copy the red color path which you have in your screen, right? Let me, what is this thing? Unlock Jenkins. Unlock Jenkins. Unlock Jenkins, right? That screen, I will bring it. So if I bring the image, it will be easy. Yeah. So you are all have this screen, right? So what you need to do, copy this path, whatever your path will be C drive. So copy that path, and that path we will do, we'll open a notepad. We'll open a notepad. So open a notepad. First you copy this path, open a notepad, and then go to file menu. Go to file menu, there's a menu. Then click on open. And when you get open, you get a dialog box. In dialog box, you paste that path and press enter. So when you press enter, you will get the password there. There will be a password. Just double click on it. There will be a password. Double click on it and copy that password. Just double click and copy that password. People on phone, give me a thumbs up if you are following me.
Could you?
Fully, okay? File menu open, then paste that path.
Okay, got it.
Then double click and copy and put it because we don't want to repeat these steps because I'm making sure others are able to do as well. Make sure everyone pay attention there. Now, at this moment, I'm assuming everyone has a password entered in this screen. Please understand, you have to enter password. The temporary password you got, you enter, right? And now you do next, then you will have a plugin. There will be a option, 2 options, big options you will have, install plugin. So you pick the first one. and it will take a 15 minutes. Double click on it. So it will start installing. Meantime, you see a maestro. I have to reset the password, okay? Because I forgot my password now. So you can install, let it install. Allow me a few minutes. I will figure it out my password part. Because where is my password? It's Jenkins. Config.xml. I will reset my password because I cannot log in that. So I'll say no secure. Security relay. Use security, I'm going to set false. So it won't ask me password. Sorry for that. Don't ask me password, please. I'm done. Okay. Now I hijack that. Without username and password, I should be able to log in. You just need to say Tada if I can log in. Otherwise, I can't teach it, right? So again, it is asking. It means still one more step. Oh, I need to bounce this. Sorry for that. Because I changed it, right? So stop it. Now it should take me inside. Take me inside, please. Okay, good. Take me inside. Not start yet. Oh, I did not start yet. Oh, it started now. Take me inside. You will be installing right now. Plugins are installed, and it's a basic plugin install. It may take a 5-10 minutes. So let it go.
So now we can continue.
Yeah, no, wait. Don't go too forward. Look at that. I'm in now. Almost in. Come on. Allow me in. In. Now it's crying. Now it's crying. Process cannot access the file. Okay, so I went further. Jenkins. So CWA, the process cannot access the file because it's being used by another process. Another process. Do I have two Jenkins? Oh, this one.
Maybe you need to reboot. We just take a break.
When I reboot, I will have problems. That's the reason I'm not rebooting. My setup will have problem with my WebEx recording. You guys are already installing, right? Now you got a username and password, right? And username, you write the username just like in our forum, like this way. Taste at 1234, like that. Taste at 1234. And then follow the normal flow. Username and password.
Are we using just this one?
Yeah, taste, and what is the other thing they ask?
Full name and email.
Just write anything. That's fine.
Jenkins is ready. Start using Jenkins.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do. I'm in. Now say tada. I'm in. Yeah, basically what I did is I hijacked the Jenkins. It's learning for you. But just as FYI, Jenkins have one file called config.xml. In case later on you might have problem. So if you install Jenkins has a file called config.xml. So the config.xml, if you open in Notepad++, then they have a concept called use security. And if you do false there, right, and then it will not prompt username and password. And just say disable remembering me. So true. So it will not remember you, but that's pretty much it. And now I'm in. It doesn't ask me username and password. You save it, yeah, and you're done. And now it will complete that, save it, complete. And all of you will see at the end of the day, Jenkins, like this console. If you are able to do this console, it means congratulations, you are good. So let's take a break. After break, we're going to do pipeline. Okay, we are kind of 50% done. Okay, sorry for this hiccup, but it happens. That's why I asked Soumya to not do it, because it's pretty hard to resolve that later on. So let's take a small break. I just want to make sure anytime you are making a configuration change, you do need to go to service, which is here, go to services, and then search for J for Jenkins, and right click and restart the service. Always restart. And when you restart, it takes a couple of minutes, and then it will get here. I'm just going right now, trying out my demo project. It's working or not. Just clicking on build. If it works, it means my machine is properly set up. It may take a little while. I just want to double check. Okay, looks like good. It's going well. Today's lucky day now. And it did successfully. So it's kind of nice. If I click on that, it's perfect. It worked. It means not too bad. Okay, so at this moment, let me check the agenda here where we are. So we just install. Okay, so we are kind of 50%, and I think we are doing great. We have a long run to go. So make sure you pay attention. We are now going to NetBeans. So let's open a NetBeans. We're going to create a simple Maven project. So we'll start a NetBeans. Whatever NetBeans you have, just start. My case, I might have a little hiccup because I have a what you call different version of JDK. So I'm going to change manually. You don't have to change anything. So we'll try to create a very simple project just to make sure a pipeline works, because our goal is to make pipeline. And then you guys can do this for your project. Entire test cases should work from Jenkins, ideally, right? That will give you confidence, because when in real life you don't run through NetBeans. NetBeans you run just for checking purpose. But in real life, everything should work from Jenkins. If it doesn't work, you have to fix it, right? So right now, let's get started. Click on File, File, New Project. So File is a menu, New Project. And in File, New Project, we'll select the Maven. In your case, it will be Java with Maven. And we'll say Java application. And this time, because I'm going to do my first project, I'll say first project, and I'll say NetBeans NB. NB means it gives me signal that it is NetBeans. Make sense? I use NB, means this is my project. So NB stands for NetBeans, because there will be 3 projects and you will be confused. So NetBeans, there will be a project for GIT, and there will be a project for Jenkins. So you will be confused because we need to do whole pipeline like that, right? So we'll use some kind of indicator that this is NetBeans. So you know I'm talking here. This is GIT, I'm talking here, and Jenkins, I'm talking here. Okay, now finish. So everything looks good. And this is my palm.xml. And you can see I have 1.7. And ideally, I should have newer version. So let me see if I can play around and change it. And if that works out, it's great. If not, I'll revert it back. So that's not a problem. Just want to see if it is pick it up, because we have Java hosts. So ideally, it should not have a problem, but always check it out. So program files, right? Java, right? And here we have JDK 7.02, right? So if I can use that, what is in your palm.xml, what it says? 17 point? That's 17, okay, right? So I'm gonna do 17. Let's see if that is good enough. Okay, let's do right click and clean build. So right click and clean build. You don't have to do anything because you have 17. I did not have 17, so I'm trying to mimic the similar setup as yours. So it looks like it went well. and it's completed because there is no Java, but it's fine. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to create a class called calculator. We're going to create a class called calculator. We'll create a two functions, add functions, where we'll pass two parameter x and y, and we'll return, and then we'll do multiply functions. We'll pass x and y, and we'll return that one, and then we'll create a TestNG to test this class. Make sense? So we'll do step by step. So first thing, go to source packages, where you have package, say yes, right click on this package, right click on this package, and right click on this package and say new Java class, new Java class. Now write a C capital, calculator, right? C capital, calculators. In Java always have first letter capital, and finish. Remember, those who are doing homework, you will not have problem because this is hundreds of times we have done, right? The only person who has a home problem, who doesn't do homework or lab, then you will have everything is, oh, what are you doing fast? We are now at the tail end, so we should know this thing very well, right? Now we're going to write a function. So we'll say public, I will be returning integer, right? And so add int x, int y, and I'll say return x plus y. Pretty easy functions, should not confuse you, right? Two inputs, and we'll do addition. And when we return, we are going to return integer. Right? Easy. There is no error. Remember, it's a function. It's int here, so you're returning x and y as input. You're doing addition. The function name is add. Right? Now copy this thing, please copy, and make it easy. Now here we'll do multiply. We'll change function name more, and we'll do star. That's pretty much it. Don't want to do more. So I wrote these functions. I copy paste. You know how fast we do copy paste here, right? And then we change the name. One thing I can tell you, you need to be faster in copy paste because that's the way you can go. You can increase your productivity. Don't write something which is already there, right? Good. So this is the class. Now this class I want to do TestNG or JUnit, whichever you works. But we'll do TestNG because I know you will have problem. So through TestNG, we're going to test it out this thing, right? And then we'll put entire project in our Git repo, right? So it's super exciting. So now this is the class I want to test it. So for that, you right click on a project, right click on a project, and it's a new. And look for TestNG test case, which I'm pretty positive you will have it, right? Because we've done quite a lot. So new TestNG test case. Now here we'll say calculator T capital test and package. We're gonna write test.com.itexps. You're amazingly doing good if you're following so far. Remember C and T capital. And package name is just like this. Good. Life is good. Awesome. Please understand, this is I mentioned hundreds of times, and I want to repeat again. If you make a mistake in do lower T in Jenkins, it will create a problem. There is no hint, nothing, and it won't work. It will say test is not there, and you will say why? Everything works in NetBeans, it doesn't work in Jenkins. So T has to be capital. It's kind of hidden, no rules, but it is like that. Okay, finish. So right now, TestNG will add its own dependency. Let's double check the dependency. So making sure you understand. So if you are doing similar way Selenium, you do need to add dependency, which I think you know very well, but dependency you need to keep adding. Good. Now double click on a test and we are ready to test unit test calculator. When we do unit test, there are only 3 steps need to happen. First is the declare. Speak with me. Declare, which is this class we need to declare here. The first is declare, the second is instantiate, and third is the test method. So first I'm going to do declare. So let's get started. I'm writing C capital calculator, and here I'll say calc and semicolon. I'm going to get error because they are in different package. This package and this package are different. So I'm going to click here and import. Make sure you import C calculator. This is your class name, which you want to test it. So that's the class name. So make sure the class name is there. Spelling is correct. This is your variable, right? So now if you click on import, make sure you always see on the screen, if you import, then error will disappear. The last thing you do, what did you do? Make sure you understand that, because you need to import, because if you don't import, then you are doing totally different thing. This will refer the correct class. So you can see now error disappear, right? Properly. This is your class and this is your variable. It's very important you map it. This is the first step. Okay. Always works. It always works. You just import. And when you import, you can see nicely it add that packages. So you have now import. So you added whole package here. Check it out. Right now, first step is done. Now we're going to go to setup method. So we're going to do before method. There is a setup method. Before method, there is a setup method. We're going to create some space here. So press some enter. Remember, we are in a setup method. Before method, we're going to create a space. Our variable name is calc. So we're going to use this one and we'll instantiate with this constructor, right? So we're going to use variable calc. So this is my variable. I'm going to go to the setup method. I'll say calc equals to new calculator. This is like an empty constructor. So you instantiate. So this is your instantiated. So here you instantiated and here you declare. So this is your declare, just for your knowledge purpose. So this two part is pretty easy actually. Always you do. Now we need to write a test method. So for that, I'm going to use at T capital test, and then I'll say public void test at T capital, like that, curly bracket, press enter. And then you import test. This is something we have been doing. Should not be a problem for you. At this moment, any questions? Good. Awesome. So we are now going to use this variable because it is instantiated by calculator. So I'm going to use it and I'm going to test it out. In order to do so, we're going to do assert. So we're going to do assert. So we'll say assert, A-double-S-E-R-T, assert, E and control space. Assert, E capital, control space, and it gives you pop-up. You can pick any of them. So I'll say any of them and then you change it. So I'm going to do any of them. So long thing is better. So I'm going to check that. And here, actual is CALC dot add 2, 2. So I'm adding 2, 2 like that. So 2, 4. And expectation is this will return me 6 because I'm doing add. Make sense? So it's pretty easy. So you can see here, this is your actual and this is your expected. So expected is 6. So 2 plus 4 will be 6. Because if I go to this method, add is doing 2 plus 6, right? 2 plus 6. So I get the answer. So that's why it's important for me that I do like this. So calc will give me 6. This is your test method. Remember, don't forget add test ever, because this is the one denotes that this is the test method. It will work. At this moment, name it doesn't matter. So I always start with test and add is my method. Assert equals will be verify. If this is both correct, then I will have test pass. Otherwise, test fail. Right now, save it and right click and say test and see the magic. Right click and test it. Right click and test it. See the magic. If it works, you just need to say congratulations, you're moving ahead. We are only going to test one and test pass. If I click on report, green, 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 everything is green. I like that, right? If you get this, means your test pass. Do you agree that we have two methods? One method I have tested, one method you can do later, but you know how to test it. Just to multiply 2 times 4 will be 8. Shouldn't take longer, right? Right now, we don't have to do. Just want to make sure if I do code coverage, only one method will be tested, which is a green, and other method is red. Can I count everyone is doing good? So right now, this is locally tested. Now we are going to do the step next. So now we are going to drag and drop this project to Git, but we don't have a repository. So now we need to create a repository. So let's log into Git. So I will do GitHub, github.com, press enter and log in. I always forget my username and password, but somehow it is saved, so I find. So I'm logged in. GitHub, logged in. You are all following good. Remember, this is the things which makes you different between normal QA and CICD guy perspective. So it's important you do it. We are almost close to finish line. 2 weeks, you are done, you're graduated. This is like a big thing, big milestone. Trust me. You all work almost six months, I would say, right? 4 months to 6 months, you work. So many things you've done. Now, don't lose your courage or confidence. Keep working till you get it. The reason I need to teach you this all because you have a project to do and I have limited time and make sure we complete it. So GitHub, can I count everyone is in? Good. Now click on the plus sign. So we're going to create a repository. So click on the plus sign and we're going to create repository. So new repository we're going to create, and this new repository is because this is our Git project. We're going to say first Git like that. So that way we know that this is our Git project. Makes sense on it? First Git. Remember, no space at all, and don't forget to click on the tiny readme, right? Don't forget that. You need to click on it, tiny, right? So tiny. Okay. Good. Now, all those expectations is you click here and it says write Java. Make sure you follow. This is all we have done many times, right? So Java. So you can see here I have selected, first I selected project name, first Git, then I selected readme, and then I selected Git ignore, and I write Java. So you ignore that Java. So you can see now add readme, right? And then Java. Project name is make sure it's green, no problem. Then readme, no problem. Git Java, no problem. Scroll down and say create repository. At this moment, repository is created. So I would say congratulations. You are done with the repository, right? All those things I have taught many times, and I also have recorded. You have done homework. You should know in and out about this. At this moment, we need to bring our NetBeans project here. So NetBeans has a folder structures. We need to make sure we clean it and bring the folder structures. So right now, we tested everything in NetBeans. Go to NetBeans, right click and just say clean. Right click on a project and just say clean. So that will clean up the structure. It will remove the classes and all. Just right click and clean it. So it will clean and it will perfectly done. So please understand these entire structures we need to bring it to Git, but you cannot drag from here, but there is a hint I can give you. Right click, make sure you follow. Ready? Right click. We are on a project, right? Project, you do right click, go to properties, and in properties, click on properties. You will see here source, where you can click on source and you can see source path. Okay. Now you copy this thing, highlight and copy this thing. So you can just highlight and copy, Control C. Control C. Now go to your file explorer, which is yellow color folder. Go to your file explorer, and then somewhere when you have opportunity somewhere, just do Control V and press enter. Control V and press enter. So when you paste here, Control V and press enter. Control V and press enter. You just paste it here and press enter, and you will see that whole structure. You come out one step. You click here, and you will see your project visible. So you can see now your project is visible. So in NetBeans projects, my project is this. Make sure this is your NB project which you just created today. If you see that, give me thumbs up. So you're following so far. We didn't drop the project. We just pasted it here. And then press enter. And then you go a little bit above and then get that. Go a little bit above and click on NetBeans projects and you will see your project here. Okay. People on phone, I'm hoping at least some of you are following. Give me thumbs up. Right. Okay, so at least a couple of people are following. Other people, are you guys active? Right? This is like $1 million thing you are learning. Trust me, I can tell you honestly. $1 million. I would not even say million, maybe $2 million thing you are learning. Because without this, you are very piece, not a puzzle, right? Because this integration is very important. You see how many technology we are touching? Because you are last close to the tail end. I taught each and everything separately. When you learn separately, easy. When you connect the dots, it sometimes takes a little time. But you make sure you understand and do it for your project. Trust me, lifetime you'll remember it because you need a few exercises. Now, what we need to do, we're gonna put this thing a little bit inside, not this one, sorry, the Explorer. Where did it go? Here you go. I'm gonna put it inside like this, so I can see that, and I can go to browser, and I can minimize a little bit this guy. So my browser I can minimize like this, so I can see both at the same time. I can see both at the same time. So Git is there and NetBeans is there. The Explorer is there because I need to do drag and drop. Make sense? So if I can see that, I can easily drag and drop. Make sure you understand this is the current project and this is my Git. See what I do. I drag and drop. So when I drag and drop, all my Java will be automatically coming here along with the palm.xml. So you can see palm.xml, Java, and test. These are 3 files it came. Right? Make sense or not? And now if you scroll down, there's a commit. So we can say initial files. Make sure you follow. These 3 files we are going to commit. So you say initial, and you can say commit changes. And congratulations, your files are now, project is now copied into this. So you can see this is the project. And if I click on that project, you can see all your Java. So, oops, if I double click on that, yeah. So I can see it has a proper structure. It has a palm and all. Make sense? Now we are done with this step. Now we need to tell Jenkins, pull this Git project. We are almost like 40 minutes away from finish line. Okay. Again, make sure you pay attention. After half an hour, you are done. So make sure you pay attention. Now we're going to go to Jenkins. Good news, we have Jenkins running. So let's go to Jenkins. Don't worry about my project. Just click on the dashboard. Click on dashboard. So when you click on dashboard, your screen will be like this. You have 0 project. I have multiple projects. Don't cry. That's okay. Now, if you move your mouse, you will see like this thing, or you can see new item. Can you guys see new item? Click on the new item. So when you click on new item, you get a dialog box like this. Now, majority time people use pipeline. Now, pipeline requires certain type of programming skill, which you do not have. Ideally, people in a real life use Ruby or some kind of programming. This is one way to do. Normally, DevOps people do that. But our is simple. Both create same thing. Either you do this way or this way. We should do this way because we are not a DevOps guy, but it doesn't matter. You do this way or this way, technically speaking, right? So let's write a project name. So here we write first, and we say Jenkins. So first Jenkins. You might notice that I purposefully use name Jenkins, Git, and NetBeans so you can see the difference. Now click on freestyle. Right? Remember one thing, everything matters. I would create a recording most likely tomorrow or day after. Watch recording and try 2-3 times pipeline. I will be not kidding here, 2-3 times. It should be in your blood. This thing should be in your blood. Okay, if you go in interview, Trust me, you will get a job. I'm not kidding, because this is what people should know, that you know it. Don't tell me I did a test cases and test, those everyone should know. Everyone knows. This one is big thing, what you're learning, okay? So click on freestyle project. You are here, this is the project, you click on it, and now you click on the blue button. And okay, congratulations for creating your first project. Was it hard? Was it hard at all? Right, project is created and you're here. A job already exists with the name because I did 2 time clicks. Don't worry about it, that happens a lot because it's a, so I did 2 time projects. So I have project here. Make sense or no? Now, if you move your mouse smoothly there is a tiny arrow shows up. Say yes. Yes, say yes. What do you see? So you're already went there. So you are already went there. You already clicked and you are in configure. So if you do tiny arrow, you're all, and then you go to configure, you're already there. So you don't have to do anything. Okay. You're kind of ahead in the game. It's like you're excited. So configure, you are here. Say yes. So you are here. Trust me, you are here. Right? Now your screen and my screen might vary a little bit here and there. So don't cry. That's normal. First thing first, there are so many things you need to know in and out, but again, it is not required for you, but DevOps person should know. You can see discard old build. It's a good practice, it's a good science. Like, anything old is always removed. So you can do that, but right now I'm going to keep it because it will help me for debug purpose, right? So it will help me. We are not going to do any of this right now. So if you move mouse, there should be a Git. Say yes. So click on the Git. So if you say source code management Git is there, you click on the Git and now your repository URL. Yes. Now take a second and go back to your Git where your green color button, you know very well how to go through green button. So you go to your project in a Git, click on the project and you will have green button. Sounds familiar? And click on the code and copy that. We have done many times. In case if you don't homework, you may not know, but otherwise we have done quite a cloning, right? Right? The only person who says, huh, what did you do? That person either missed the class or did not do homework, right? We cannot teach right now Git and all, but this is important. This is the GitHub URL, right? So this is the project, green button, you copy that, right? So you copy. Once you copy, you go back to your Jenkins and in there you paste it. Now there is one thing is problem, which I want to make sure you understand. People spend days and weeks and could not figure it out. When you do this thing repository, if you see here, in a Git repository, you are doing this, but the problem is they have a concept called master here. Do you see that? Say yes. But if you see your Git, there is no word called master. There's a word called main. I don't know why. I don't know why they have main here, right? But because people do this mistake, they cannot do anything. So in order to do so, you need to do here main. So you go back to your Jenkins and you just do main. Most people don't get this thing why, and I also don't know why they have done main here versus master, but if you don't do, it won't work. Yes, Pranav, any question?
I'm not able to see your screen.
Very nice. No one is able to see my screen?
I don't know anybody else, but I can't see that.
Then you have to rejoin because sometimes you might have multiple screens and it might be a problem. Try to rejoin quickly. You should be able to see because I'm sharing right now. Am I not sharing?
Yes,
You're
you're sharing.
Oh my God.
Okay, let me try. Let me retry.
Otherwise, I'll be in trouble because I was thinking to give you a recording, right? What am I going to give you a recording? That's the reason I did not restart. Even Mike wanted to restart because my machine, when I restart, I lose all my setup quickly because I do a lot of setup. So this class, I need to do all those setups. So you see how I do without even checking PowerPoint on them. And that is what practice makes perfect, right? So that's why good news, you have forum. Forum has all the things documented. Look at the new item. Look at that, how beautiful it is. Look at the freestyle. Look at that. Okay. Look at the hello world, right? Create repository, right? Everything is documented. So you can practice that. But if you don't then you will not get this thing. So it's 1 or 2 times if you do it, trust me, you will remember it. So make sure, remember, master has to be main here, right? So Pranav must be now wearing special glasses now. We'll be able to see that, right? I wish I can be invisible, right? Even I'm sharing what's not there, right? It's kind of illusion. Okay, perfectly fine. Now, just want to make sure we understand this step. This is step 1 we did. So step 1 is we set up a Git. Quite easy, right? Do you agree or not? Quite easy. We just copied this thing and we change main. That's pretty much it, right? We didn't do much here. Quite easy, right? Step 1. Yes or no? Yes. So what we are saying, right? We are saying, Jenkins, go to Git. There is a URL I'm giving you. And from URL, go and get the main branch. So it's going to get you. That's the step 1. If it completes, step 1 is done. If it completes, step 1 is done. Make sense or not? So now it's time for us to save it. Once we save it, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens, but there is a button called build now. Yes or no? Listen, don't do that. Listen carefully. When you do build now, in this side, you will see some blinking thingy. Please pay attention. A blinking thingy with the number. After a few minutes, if you get a blue, it means it went successfully. If you get a red color here, then it errored out. If you get an error out, you need to click on number, and then you will see std out, standard out, and then we need to check the log, what happened. Okay, let me repeat. When you do build, you will see blinking. If the blinking completes and you get a blue, it means good. If you get a red, it means error. There's a number next to it. If you click on the number, you will get a standard out. If you click on standard out, you will see the error. We're going to do this thing together. Ready? Do build now. So as soon as you do build now, you will see some blinking will happen. So you can see blinking happen. For me, it's right away green. I'm lucky today. So lucky today, right? So let's click on the number sign. So it will give you std out, console out. Say yes. Yes or no? Yes. Click on it. And it will show you what happened. What just happened? Oh, success. That's all I need. And it understands something that it got something called first.git. But in first.git, it is bringing a project. And that inside that project, there is a folder. Remember the folder first project, and so I need to see what happened right now. So you can see here, it did work out. So if it is successfully completed, then we have 2 things to understand. Where did it bring this thing, right? Somewhere it brings. So give me 2 minutes. I just want to show you. So if I click on first project, you can click also if you want. Click on that. If you click on it, first project. Now you can see all those information here. So it will give you idea that what happened in last. So you can click here. There is a concept called workspace. Make sense? Click on it. So that will show you what happened suddenly. So you can see here, I see the project, first project NB is visible. Yes or no? So now that is for sure that first project came. So if I click on that, I'll see the folder structure. Wow. So that seems like pretty good. Project came. You guys agree or not? Now highlight this and copy this part. Control-C. So now we are going to do step 2. Guys, we are doing great so far. We just completed this portion. Now we're going to do this portion. Are you guys ready? Say yes. Awesome. So now we are going to click on configure. So there are many ways you can go to configure. So you can see this project has a configure like this, right? Or if you move a mouse and then you can get tiny arrow and you can get a click on that and you can go. So sometime I go to dashboard. Let me show you. A little bit longer, but it's easier. So click on dashboard. So you can go to dashboard. Then you have a project. And in project, if you, this one, right? You can see tiny arrow and you will see configure. Make sense or not? So you can get multiple ways configure, right? Just give me some kind of acknowledgement that you are able to follow, because it's right? Tiny arrow, and you can see configure. Make sure you know navigate a little bit so it's easy, right? Now let's click on configure. So you know that, I know that we have completed the first step, which is called Git. So we brought that. Now it's time for build. Speak with me. Build. So now if you scroll down a little bit, scroll down a little bit, scroll down a little bit, scroll down as you go, build trigger. Now, sorry, yeah. Now there are two questions people ask in interview. One is manually and one is automatic. So manually means you trigger, which we will do. And periodically means we can say *5 means every 5 minutes and then 5 star. That's it. So if you do that every 5 minutes, 5 star. How many star? 5 star. So if you do first like this means every 5 minutes, or if you do like this every 2 hours, or you do like this means all 5 star, or you do star, star, and *1 means every day. Make sense? There's a concept is that this concept is called cron tab or cron string. Again, you don't have to know everything, but you can do periodically. Answer is yes. Right now, we are not worried about any of them. Scroll a little down and look for somewhere Maven. Do you see somewhere Maven here? Anywhere? Build environment. This is a Gradle I can see. Timestamp. 5-minute build. I said end I can see, but there is no Maven. Are you kidding? There got to be Maven. Let's do Maven. Oh yeah, yeah. Got to be kidding, right? Add build step. Do you guys see here Maven? Say yes. Add build step. There's a drop down box and then build steps, right? We will see that. It's okay to say yes.
Yes.
Then I know that I can move forward, right? So if I click here, right? So now I can go to the next screen. Make sense? Now goals, we're gonna do simple goal, clean and test. Test means run it. What do you call it? TestNG. If it runs, we're done. We're done. But if it doesn't run, we have to do a little bit massage. Today is a lucky day. Most likely it should run. Please understand, when you do first time, it's going to take a long time because it's going to download lots of, what do you call? Our dependency. No problem. Now, there is a button called Advanced. Click on it. And in Advanced, it's look for palm.xml. So click on it and write the, remember you did Control C, so you do Control V. And then palm.xml. That's your palm.xml. It's always important your project finds palm.xml. So it knows how to build it, because without palm.xml, it won't build. Clean and test will happen. When a test happens, so you know what will happen? TestNG will run, right? So if that case is right, everything looks good. Everything looks good. Right now, I'm going to do save. Going to do save. So when I do save, nothing happens. I just need to click on build now. This time build may take a little time. If we're lucky, we get a check mark. Otherwise, we have to troubleshoot. So build now and see now blinking will take a little extra time this time. Do you guys see that? It is taking a little extra time. It means it's downloading dependency, which is good. It did not error out. It means very good. It's still going through. It means very, very good. Okay. It seems like going to work, right? To be honest with you, in a real life, even DevOps person, it is a big thing for them because this takes a couple of days for them. And if they do it, they celebrate it. Why? Because this pipeline is almost ready, right? If this step is working, so today is my lucky day. Look at that. See, it worked. And if you click on number 2, you will get console here. Click on console output. After clicking number 2, console output, you will see test cases there. Result. Scroll down. Look at the dependency downloaded and test successfully passed. Did you guys agree? So if you are able to do, I would say congratulations. You have done amazing milestone. Amazing milestone. It took me, when I started my career, it took me 4-5 years to get this type of thing because no one taught us. The only thing, it was a black box for us because like that. Someone does it, no one teaches. It's hard because we were using ant, but process works almost same way. You see how easy it is? Because we know how steps are done. At this moment, Very, very important, guys, that you are done with here. Now, next step is report. Where is the report? Report is not there. So please understand, we have done 2 steps in a pipeline. We are able to Git and we are able to do test. You guys agree? Now the third step is to do report. And that is only happen post-test. Speak with me. Post-test means if test pass, then I can do report. So how do I create a report? So for that, we need a plugin. And the plugin we need to install within Jenkins. So Jenkins allows lots of plugin to install. So we are going to install plugin. Okay. When we install the plugin, we need to restart our NetBeans. In order to restart the NetBeans, I mentioned to you, you need to start search services. Why don't you search services here? Services, and click on the services and open the dialog box. Be ready with that. Search services and be ready with that. Ready? Okay. Now, how to install plugin? I'm going to show you. Okay. There are a few steps involved, but don't cry. You will be able to do it. Ready, set, go. So if you move all the way mouse to dashboard, and if you bring the down arrow, you will see that. Move your mouse here and down arrow will show, and there will be a manage plugin. Oops, nothing. Here you go. Did you manage plugin? No, let me click on dashboard first. Maybe that is not coming. Yeah, sometimes here you go. So for me, it's a little different. So dashboard and manage, it should be manage plugin. Why it's not coming? Yeah, here you go. Here you go. Sometimes take time. So you can see manage Jenkins, and then there will be a plugin. Say yes or no. Now look for manage plugin. Make sure you understand everything is step by step. Click on manage plugin. Now what happened? Managed plugins are all free, so you don't have to worry about, but in real life, you can buy also plugin. Now here, we are interested in report. And that I know that by knowledge that TestNG report is not there. So I'm going to search TestNG. TestNG. So you can see here, it's automatically giving me, hey, TestNG result. So I'm going to check my TestNG. Next. It means you're typing incorrect. Please type correctly. You should be there. If I'm able to do, you should be able to do, because it's internet. Make sure you type TSTN. Just type TST test N. Everyone should be able to see. Not? You're not able to? Nothing? Nothing. It means you may want to check this thing. Hello? You want to check this thing. Available. Click on available. Maybe it's one of these are not selected. So click on available plugin and then search, because sometimes selection might be a TestNG, right? Available, right? See, it means I might have installed. Maybe that might be the reason. 1 second. I just double check. I think I might have installed. So for me, yeah, I have installed. So for your cases, click on availables. Please understand available, type test, right? And if you click on that, it will allow option install, and there will be a check mark, somewhere check mark restart. So make sure you check mark, right? So click on first TestNG result. Make sense or no? And then click it and just say install. And if they ask you, do you want to restart? Make sure you check mark. There is a check marks will be there. And just do it. It may take a minute or two. Follow that. There is nothing special to ask. Just follow that. There will be a straightforward. It will say check box, just check mark. There's nothing to do. Just check, install, follow. You don't have to type anything. Just check, and then install. It will ask you, do you want to restart? Check mark. And wait for a minute. It may take a while, depending on the machine speed and all. Now, at this moment, most likely your machine might be doing certain thing. I don't like to wait too much. So what I'm going to suggest is go to our services. You already waited for a minute. Now press J. Press J here in services. Press J, and you will see Jenkins there. Right click on that and restart. Right click and restart. Right click and restart. Right click and restart. So first you need to press J. Where I am right now, I'm in services. Remember we did services? In services window, first you press J. J means Jenkins, and right click and just say restart. It may take a while. Restart will happen instantly. Once restart happens, maybe give a minute. Now click on your Google Chrome and write localhost 8080 and log in. Write localhost 8080 in a browser and log in. At this moment, you should be able to log in. Because if you waited for 2-3 minutes, it will take a little time, but it will take you to the dashboard. If it is taking to dashboard, you're doing great. Now, please understand. If you are in dashboard, your project, if you are able to see this thing, means you're doing great, right? Now, again, go to your project, tiny arrow, go to configure, go to project, tiny arrow, go to configure. Now, we want to do post test step, and that will be the last step for today. So we did two steps. So scroll down a little bit, and there should be a post step. So build trigger we are done. This is done. Build step is done. Post. In this drop down box, if you see TestNG report, then that is what you need. Publish TestNG result. This only came because you installed the plugin. It was not there before, but when you install plugin, it is there. Now click on it. That's our last step. And it is so easy. It is so easy. You see, automatically it writes everything. Right? Now save it. So what we are saying, after you build it, run the report. Now save it. Now build now. Just click on build now. And let's see the magic. Build now. And if it works, I should see the report. And that should be the tada. That should be the last topic for today. It worked. So let's click on number 3. It worked for me. And you will see report now this time. Do you see TestNG report? Do you agree? You click on it. And you will see the code coverage, like your test and all. So you can see duration it took. It took one test it passed. If you click on here, the package, click on the package, it will show you which method you ran, and you will see the result also. Pretty good. So you can see test pass. In this class, you ran that and test pass. Make sense or no? So this is just one kind of thing. Part of your project, you will need to do various plugins, and you have to play around. If you are meeting like every day, maybe few hours, you will be able to add more plugins. You should add more plugins because in interview, you can share this story, what you are doing. This is one of the tasks you can say nicely, step by step. This is what I'm doing. This Jenkins complete end-to-end work. And today is the luckiest day, and this is what we want to. Question, concerns, doubt. Right? Now, people on phone, I know how many people I left because some people might have dropped, man, nothing is working, what's going on? So we have still 14 people we kept it. Not bad, right? Out of maybe 17, 18, no problem. It's not bad, right? So we have most of people here, so that's great. Now, a couple of things I want to make sure you understand. Project is a gift, trust me. I'm telling over and over. The reason I tell, and I feel regret also one way, that most of the students fail on a last mile because they think, oh, it's too much to do. But if you ask me, if you are going on a career, right? And in your career, when you are going to work as a QA or Selenium engineer, right? This is part of your life. You will be doing daily. Now, if you don't learn this part strongly, then you can't perform daily activity. You guys agree or not? So what will happen? You may have a job, and next after a week or two, you will be out because you are not able to perform the job. Can you afford that type of risk? I may not. I will be working hard. So that's why right now you don't have pressure. You have enough time, your groups. So you work hard, make sure you build muscles. In order to build muscles, you do need to work on a project. And let me just quickly remind you the project details, because many of you might not remember where is the project and all, right? Because you should be working, but just want to quickly remind you. Because in project, I clearly mentioned, so let me go back to category. Just 2 more minutes, we're almost done. And if I go to quality assurance, right, in category quality assurance, Selenium web project. In a Selenium web project, this project, I have clearly mentioned that you should use plugins. So if you go to Selenium project, you can see all the steps you see here, but I mentioned here, so you can do all those things, Agile, Scrum, and all do whatever you want, practice. Jenkins plugin, add a couple of plugins. Unless you add this plugin, you will not really enjoy. This plugin email, every time build successful or fail, you will get email. For that, I have added email plugin information. One of our students did step by step. This is what you need to do step by step, documentation also there. Something you need to research, something you need to do. If you see a couple of projects, PowerPoint, I just want to show you, they all started like that as a rookie. But man, I want to show you the PowerPoint just quickly. I think this is the PowerPoint. They have done so many plugins that all of them got a job. And that is where the starting thing, this is their plugin, right? First of all, I hired this lady. It's amazing work. See the plugin, you will see. They did a car gurus, and you will see plugin. So Jira test automation. So they did a plugin for Jira also. So when you write a Jira bug, so like a test fail, it automatically creates bug for you. Now they didn't know anything, but they decided that they want to learn. So they did spend Google and all. They were here like 6 hours. Some people like whole night and day they were working, but that's the reason they get a job. They don't get a job because they take training. They get a job during training. They put more effort, right? So first Jira test automation. See here plugin, test cases, test details. They did a plugins. Now TestNG. Now you can see here further. There's a plugin. This is another plugin they did. You can see nicely plugin that is called test report extended HTML. That's the plugin. See, beautiful, nice, beautiful. See test report, right? If you scroll down, TestNG test report. That's another plugin which we did now. You scroll down, test analyzer plugin. Trust me, they did not have more time. You have more time. I have done videos. I have explained to you all. That time I was just explaining very limited because it's 2-3 years back. But in 2-3 years back, they did it. We are much more smarter and better now, right? How long it search in Google and sit down and just do it, right? It will take hardly, initially one plugin may take maybe 1 hour or 2 hours. But once you start having this plugin, look at that, how much you can speak in your interview. Think about it. If you scroll down, there's an email plugin, right? No wonder why they get a job. There is a test automation plugin, right? So they did a plugin, the Jira issue plugin. And amazingly, look at that, how many things they combine. They combine all those things, right? This is what pipeline means. So just like we did a Jira report, TestNG report, you can add another plugin. So keep adding steps, and more steps you make, more richer your pipeline becomes. Right? This is one team, and there is another team also did. But you have all those things. There is all detail. Their projects also I added here. So some of the people's projects are here. So please watch their project and work on that. Trust me, you will not get second opportunity. You can say, I can repeat the class, but you will not have this group. You will not have this momentum. Because it is proven that the person, when they repeat, they normally don't have that excitement, their excitement on second time. Think about watching movie. Same movie you watch again. I know this. So there's overconfidence and there's a little bit weaknesses. So someone said that when you do first time, do it right, because you don't want to do second time. Make sense? You still have 2 weeks, amazing time. Trust me, at this moment, you can complete all your project work. The next week, what I'm going to teach you, it's called BDD, Selenium grid, and page objects. If you do it or not in your project, it's fine. But I think up to Selenium, if you need to do that. And in this test cases, which I was working on, we did test here, the what you call TestNG test case, right? This one. But here, if I put Selenium test cases, it should still work. It will still work. It will open browser and all it will do, right? So you and your partner need to work, but don't just work 1 hour a week. You need to put 4 or 5 hours a week. Why? Because this what you do in 2-3 weeks, you will most likely going to do next 2-3 years. So you are creating a foundation for that success. If your foundation is weaker, you will have a challenge. I can tell you. Okay. I don't want to scare, but you are in a group. You have videos, everything you have. If you have a problem, bring the problem next week. I can happy to help you. But if you not use next week opportunity, then you are by your own. And last always, right? I have emergency. I cannot do project. I have dog sick. I have family member, right? My car is not working. All those are good excuse, and I welcome all excuse, but it is only going to hurt you, not me. I have done my part very well. I want you to do project. I want you to get a credit. I want you to feel that you presented the project. When you present, you will remember and you will share that thing in your interview. So it's important that you prepare and present, because those who present, they remember. So this the reason I remember, because I presented many times, right? It's not like I'm practicing. Honestly, I do not practice, but because I presented so many times, I remember it. So I'm humbly requesting you do it, because you are at that level where you can see the glory of success.